Ronan Kazi. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Okay. What do I got for you today? Well, Shadowrun returns, I think it's the name of the game. And it's an isometric game, kind of like Fallout and any of those games, RPG, cyberpunk-ish. And this is going to be playing in the background. What do I have for you today, YouTube? Well, I've removed a hard drive from my Alienware laptop, 13-inch. If you could like, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, share, buy me a cup of coffee maybe. If not, it's okay. And I am taking one of the drives from my new mini PC, and I'm putting that drive, a 0.5 terabyte, into that laptop. And I'm taking that terabyte drive and I'm going to try to put it into my mini PC. So number one, I've told you that you got to go into the BIOS. I'm sorry if I'm shouting. Number one, I've told you if you have to go into BIOS, however you get into your BIOS. On my Dell, it's F2 to get in the BIOS and F12 to do the boot options. So what you're going to see quickly here is a video of me in the BIOS, and I'm going to find the secure boot, and I'm going to show you that it's disabled. You kind of have to do that to make everything happen. So here you go in the video. It should be anytime now. And what you're going to see is I toggle through everything, and I'm going to move up and down over that so you can see that, you know, it's disabled. So that's number one. So you do that in the BIOS. This is after you've already used Rufus to put in your ISO on your USB thumb drive. The next thing I'm going to show you, abbreviated installing CachyOS. And the thing that I'm going to show you is the questions it asks you. It's really mundane. So once you reboot Cachy up, I told you it'll boot into a text space. You'll see it loading the operating system into your memory, and then it's going to start running. And so you're going to see this next video here is of Pink. So I tried to do this on my kitchen table, and Pink was not letting me do it. There in the background you see NVIDIA. That's one of those little game decks I got a long time ago, and it runs like our TV now, I guess. Anytime Pink. I eventually get tired of him playing around and I move it over here. So I'm going to select my boot. I'm going to go to Refind, which is the one in the middle. Grub's on the left. It's kind of weird there's two mice happening at the same time, but I select that one in the middle, Refind. And I've already selected install. I had to connect my Wi-Fi up to this. This is slower than my other PC. I think the processor's fast. Okay, so now it's going to ask what, you know, what your keyboard, US. Then where do you live? US. There's Pink. Thanks, Pink. And this is standard on every Linux installation. It'll ask you this in a certain order. I typed in my username and password. I did that. And then I said, how am I going to format the disk? I'm just saying format everything. So erase the entire disk. It knows what it needs to put in there then. I don't have to guess anything. And voila. So once that gets going, I'll show you the installation process. I've sped it up double time. And that's all it really takes, everyone. That's all you have to do. I've talked about this on a higher level, right? And then we're showing you the nuts and bolts. I'm not going to go over select your language. I mean, you can select your language. That's the easy part of all this. So here we go for the part where we're going to install everything now. So you remember that screen. I'm going to select install it somehow. Yes, are you going to do it? Yes. And this is what you see. Now it just starts loading everything in there. At a certain point, I had to turn on the overhead light. It's glary. You can see I'm not a big fan. There's a trapezoid effect that's happening on the video. I don't know how to get rid of that really easy. Again, those are small things. I don't have the headset on because I don't know why. The video yesterday was inspired by a friend of mine that called, that's also a viewer of the channel. Then he said, I appreciate your Linux stuff. So you have been responding more to Linux. I get more views on the Linux, so I'm going to do some more of that here. Nothing says amateur like the glare of your overhead light on your video. Eventually I get up and turn that off, but not right now. And you're really not seeing anything. This is just the loading process. So you might walk and get a cup of coffee or do something else while it's doing this anyways. I will say this, that this is much slower. So let's talk about going from Windows 10 to Linux. I thought this processor was fast enough to run Windows 11, and it probably is, but I noticed there's a significant difference between this and my newer system. So what are the reasons? When should you upgrade your hardware? That's a great question. I'll tell you when. When the ancillary stuff, not necessarily the CPU, but when the ancillary stuff, like your Bluetooth driver and your Wi-Fi, when that stuff, see, I turned the light off now. When that stuff's slow, like if you're on Wi-Fi 5, then unless you're gonna plug that laptop or computer in, you're handicapping yourself to probably what your network is capable of delivering. Same thing with Bluetooth and those other things. So there's, again, we talked about use case. What are you doing with this computer? Is it a computer for, you know, whoever? That's fine. Is it a computer sitting in the kitchen where we're looking up recipes? Yeah, that's fine. Is it a computer we're using to just stream some video or some, it's just like another like TV for us? Yeah, you're fine. And Linux is the right way to do that. Why have someone just getting all your metrics and all your data and you're just using it as a TV? Who needs to know that you really like whatever shows you're crazy love? The other things that I'm going to show you is like what I do when I first install the system. Now, one of the things to remind you, there's a couple caveats in all this. Unless you're doing this on a laptop, if you're doing it on an old desktop, you probably already have a keyboard and mouse attached. But if you are going to attach it via Bluetooth, you're going to need a physical connection to your keyboard and your mouse, because that Bluetooth connection won't be prevalent when you're in your BIOS. So those are some of the things. If you ever have an old keyboard, an old mouse, and you retire it, that, you know, just save it, throw it in a drawer somewhere. There are going to be times that you need it. And so here's the negative. I had gaming laptops that have a USB port for the RGB and a USB port for the, right, so that takes 2 slots. And when I had a mouse, the one keyboard has a slot for the mouse, so I can plug the mouse in there. But like, depending on how many slots you have. The other thing when you're thinking about getting your new computers, if you just have, all you really need is one Thunderbolt, and then you can put a dock in that you're gonna run everything else off of that. There we go, we're all done, YouTube. Now I'm gonna have it reboot. And so there is no way for me to OBS this because it's not a system yet. So eventually I figure out how to reboot this. There we go. And reboot. So now it's shutting down. You're going to have to pull out your USB drive, right, so it doesn't boot back up into it. Okay, there we go. And there's Refind. That's the bootloader. And now it's going to boot into Cachy. And there you go. Okay, so this is the helper screen. It goes to software. I'm gonna do a system update. And I'm going to type in my password again, and it's going to give me the system update. I may black that out, and it's going to say everything's loaded up. When I was installing it, it said, you should be installing it with the latest version. So I go to the next thing. I think I'm going to load software. I'm loading the gaming packages, the Steam, the Lutris, and those other things. It was just another button I had to push. That's what I was trying to tell you. Those other things you got to do, package manager. It's a small step, but this is gaming. This is going to give you all the stuff you need. And that's what it looks like when you add software. I've shown that in other videos, but that's what it looks like. Normally, you can see how the menu bar on the bottom is traditional. I like to move mine bigger and in the center, but this is just like Windows, right? You can click over on that KDE thing on the left and it will pull up a menu and all that stuff. And now I'm going to actually do that. Well, I said, no, I can load the software right from here again, so I don't have to search a menu. And now I'm going to put in OBS, same steps. I type in my password. And if you like this video, God bless you. And there's the menu system that we've looked at before. Now I'm going to drag Steam on the desktop, and I'm going to make the icons bigger. And it's pretty easy to do. Now I'm going to do OBS, right? Maybe. Oh, it's updating Steam, excuse me. And I'm going to load a Steam game on there, and I'm going to start it so you can see that it works. And I think this doesn't work automatically, so I might have to go through some things to make it work. Or maybe that was Shadowrun that I had to do that with. It's all blurring into one big video. There's Steam. I'm going to have to take a picture of it with my Steam Guard with my cell phone. I have to do that a lot because I'm going on all these different systems constantly. And it's like, what are you doing, fella? That was my phone taking a picture. I could have done this part better. I apologize, YouTube. Maybe that's why you're holding out on me. But this is basically how to do everything, and this is just the proof that I just did it. A lot of times when I do videos into Division and I'm showing you how to do a Legendary, I don't do a lot of cuts, so you can see I'm not BSing. I'm not playing it on normal and then doing the thing on normal. I'm doing it on Legendary and that's what I want to show you. I'm a big believer in proving this stuff out, because I think a lot of times there's some incredible things that people claim it doesn't really happen. This took a little bit to load. It was 10 gig. And again, so I started touching on the hardware, right? This hardware, this was an Alienware 13-inch laptop with an i7 something, but it's an i7 lower power. For all this, I even turned on the extra speed and extra fan to cover it, and it didn't really, to me, make much of a difference. Normally, I have all that on lower level. So why do I ever get laptops? I got laptops because I wanted to be able to carry my gaming wherever I went. I normally am going to game with a different keyboard and mouse, but I just need that screen. So really, I have no desire to play the game off of the trackpad. No thanks. And use that keyboard. I will on the pinch, but I'd always use a mouse, let's say. So that's what you think about any portable device. You know, how am I going to really use it? My iPad, I edit everything on it because it's just so fast. Use my fingers and touch. I'm so spoiled. Like, to go back to a mouse seems archaic to do that. In my mind, this is the only way that you should, you know, edit movies and stuff. Right there, I'm showing you the permissions on the file. This has a KIO admin already built in. You can see that directory was already set. At this point, I didn't realize that my other hard drive wasn't being, oh no, that other hard drive was already fixed somehow. So I don't even know why it's working on that part, YouTube. That's PFM, as we like to say. So Hades is getting installed there. So there's a certain point that you should upgrade with your hardware. It doesn't make any sense to have such an old system, but you might get systems that you can reuse some of your hardware. It's hard to reuse laptop hardware, laptop hardware, because they have SODIMMs for their, so that's why the mini PC, that's another reason I went with the mini PC, because I could just reuse my laptop hardware. And I had 64 gigabytes when it didn't cost anything. And now we may be facing the apocalypse, YouTube. But my thoughts on that are, all these server farms, they're gonna have to replace those so often. There's gonna be a chance for you to get some of that stuff, but we'll see how that goes. And why would you just leave that money? There it is, Hades 2 booting up. So that's fantastic. So this mini video inside the other video is about to be done. That's the install on a system already had Cachy. I already pulled that disk out, put a new disk in, format it, did everything you saw how to do that. It's easy. So let's wrap up. Now we're back into Shadowrun returns, right? I'm going outside of the bar I was in. So really, you have this opportunity. It's easy to do. It's straightforward. There's a lot of, tutorials on how to install Linux, but really it's basic and it's very easy. It's why I kind of hesitated on doing it, because I think it's so easy. I appreciate everyone that likes the videos. I have been kicked out of my AI enhancing photo software, so my titles aren't as good as they used to be. And I'm too cheap to buy the, I'm not going to buy a subscription, to something. It was free and I didn't use all the paid ones, and now they just said it's free for 3 days. So if you've noticed a degradation in my thumbnails, that's why. Or if they've improved, that's why. Hey, this is Ronan Kazi. Thank you, as always, YouTube, for coming and seeing what I'm doing and sharing. And that clip's playing music. This is Ronan Kazi, unexpectedly out.